Welcome to the Unbound Woman podcast, the space where we stop playing by the rules that kept us small, burnt out and disconnected from our bodies and start living in our full power. I'm Neve, a 4/6 generator with a Leo rising, Pisces moon and Aquarius sun, and I'm the creator of the Embodied Woman method. This isn't just another self-help checklist, it's a way of coming home to yourself through our 4 core pillars. 1. Your rooted body, where we strengthen, nourish and balance our hormones so our physical vessel feels safe and alive. 2. Your feminine flow, connecting to your cycles, womb wisdom, sensuality, so you can move with your own rhythm instead of against it. 3. Your radiant heart, healing your nervous system, feeling your feelings and creating emotional safety so joy actually sticks. And 4. Your wild spirit, from energy work, intuition and pleasure that anchor you into your unique essence. And the in-between? We reset, regulate and radiate because healing isn't about fixing what's broken, it's about reclaiming what was always yours. Here we'll talk strength training and nervous system science in the same breath as self-love, boundaries and dancing in your kitchen. We'll laugh, get real and have conversations that you didn't know you needed, the ones that free you from the stories that you are bound. So take a few deep breaths and let's jump on in to this week's episode. Welcome back, my loves, to another episode of the Unbound Woman podcast. Episode 4, I believe. And I'm really excited to come to you today to have a chat about our physical body. So last week we spoke about the nervous system, which is involved very much so in one of the core pillars of my new method, the method that I'm currently building called the Embodied Woman method. And this method is incredibly important. And if you want to know what the connection is to this Unbound Woman podcast, listen to the intro again and I'll explain it all for you. But today we're going to talk about one of the integral pillars of becoming an embodied woman, and that is the rooted body. So the rooted body effectively, it encompasses the physical health, our strength, our nourishment, and also looking at our hormones, right? These are all incredibly important to being a very unbound, embodied woman. And I have a personal belief that our body is a conduit between heaven and earth. So if you do want to heal your mind or soul, you do actually have to go through the body, right? And I feel like for many in the spiritual development world, so a lot of us started off in maybe wellness, and then we went to self-development, and then we went into self-awareness, and then we ended up dipping our toes into the spiritual community. And I do feel like in very many teachings, old school spiritual teachings that are being brought in now, it's all about this idea of enlightenment. And while I agree with the idea of enlightenment, I feel like we've got the wrong end of the stick with it. And what everybody is trying to do is they're trying to escape their humanness. They're trying to escape this human body. And I fully disagree with that. I love plant medicine. I love the idea that we can heal using it. I think we're going to see so much happening in that space over the next 30, 40 years. But I do think people are using it to escape and to fast track their, inverted commas, healing. And I think we're missing the whole fucking point. I truly like to believe that there's trillions of souls out there, right, out in the ether, waiting to have the opportunity to be chosen to come to earth and embody a human body, to wear a human meat suit, to become this beautiful technology of computer that was built and however was formed in the world, right? It was created. And us trying to escape that is actually against everything that every single one of them out there who is yet to come to earth is like wishing we could see the beauty of what it is to be human, rather than escaping it, but embracing it, but having the awareness around it. I think that's the very different piece between the spiritual community, the wellness community, and possibly those who haven't done the work, right? It's finding that beautiful balance of being aware of ourselves and wanting to be the best human that we can be, while also understanding that we're powerful as souls. And why, to me, the physical body is so important is, as I said, I believe we're a conduit between heaven and earth. So if we think about this on a physics level, so I'm about to take you back to leaving cert physics, guys, right? Last time I did it, my physics teacher would be really proud of this, because I can tell you, she was not proud of me when I was in school. I was not really good at physics. Don't know why I chose it for my leaving cert, but we're here, right? But our body is an electrical system, right? So if we think about when I spoke about the nervous system last week, our nervous system communicates using electrical signals. Our heart and brain produce measurable electromagnetic fields. So our aura, of what people call it, or the idea of like energy or frequency or grounding, is all actually real. It's all based on this electromagnetic field, right? So like also our cells rely on ions and electrical gradients to actually function. So our whole body is made up of this. This is how magical we are, right? Like, this is what our bodies do on a day-to-day basis that we don't understand, that we just call energy or simply living. Okay? But like any electrical system, we need three things. We need grounding, we need a clear conduit, and a balanced input and output. Okay? So if you can think of like an electrical wire, so, if you look at your charging port, okay? So, your charging wire for your iPhone or for your phone in general. Sorry to any of those Google or Samsung holders out there, but any phone, right? Nothing specifically special about Apple. But if you take your charging cord and you look at the cord, so like you have in your hand a conduit. So this conduit, when plugged in to an output, or an input, sends electromagnetic current down into the phone to charge it, right? And within the plug sockets, there are three wires, and one of them is a grounding wire. Okay, you've got input, output, grounding. Electromagnetic field is just out there. It's, if you wave your hand in front of your face in the air, that's the electromagnetic field. We as humans have become so intelligent that we learned to funnel that electromagnetic current through a tiny little wire from a little socket in the wall into a phone and create charge, electromagnetic charge. We have charged the phone, okay? Our bodies are the same. So the electromagnetic field is out there. We channel it. So when people talk about channeling energy and channeling from God, this is what they're talking about. God is an energy source. All of those things are an energy source. So you're channeling from that through the body into the earth to ground it out. So like you don't electrocute yourself. When you get the shock off the car sometimes, it's because you haven't grounded. So it's the same idea. It's like that. So we don't build up an explosive charge. That would be interesting. We are grounded into the earth, or grounded where we're sitting, right? We ground it through. That's why visualizing grounding is so, so important for us. It's why we need it, okay? So if we think of it like that, that's why this is so important. To understand the basics of that physics means that if you put a chink in that, like, wire, so let's say it's just a thin piece of electromagnetic wire, right? Every time we do that, it slows down the current moving through. Or maybe you put a block in, maybe we tie it up, or maybe we cut it. And every time we have a block, it doesn't give permission for that to move through. It stops it somehow, it slows it down. And this is what happens when we have a issue within the body. So if we think of the body as that piece of wire, and maybe we might have some gut inflammation, we have some hormone issues, maybe you have inflammation in general, maybe you have a dis-ease going on in the body. Every time we do that, we're slowing down that current. And what happens is that buildup of energy in the body starts, and it doesn't know where to go, or it's taking its time. And that can feel exhausting for the body because the body's trying to move it through, and it's also trying to send it to the places where it needs to heal, right? So our field becomes distorted in that. This can also happen with emotional issues, all of these extra bits and pieces that make us feel heavy. So I start to feel heavy because nothing's moving through properly. It's just taking its time. And this has an impact on the physical body in so many ways. We might feel like we need more energy, so we start overeating food. Some of us feeling less energy, so we stop eating food, depending on what's going on. We're not sleeping correctly because the current is still running through us. We aren't healing properly. All of these different issues are having an impact on the physical body. And if you want to be able to clear your channel, I truly believe in the healthier you are, the clearer your channel becomes. But not only the clearer your channel becomes, but you're able to hold more. You're able to also then expand more. Like, have you ever tried to be creative when you're not feeling well? Like when you've been knocked down by a really bad flu. Now, there's some people listening to this who might have autoimmune conditions, or like myself, have a monthly issue. But I mean, like, have you ever tried awful flu to get out of bed and do anything outside of trying to survive? That's really difficult because all of your energy is being focused into healing yourself, right? And into resting and learning how to balance rest and output and input, right? So you're trying to balance those. So this can be really, really difficult. So we want to have a clear vessel that is able to allow us to expand and hone more current, effectively, to hold more, to attract more, to magnetize more. And that can only happen if we're actually feeling healthy. So we need to feel nourished, right? We need to give our body minerals. This is why salts and electrolytes, literally in the word electrolyte, is so important for us as humans. We need fuel to run the wiring. Like, our body is the wire. We need to fuel that. We need to ensure that we're able to create energy ourselves using food, sleep, resting, building it up, getting ourselves there, hydrating the body. Such a big thing, hydrating our body so that we can take that in. We want to strength train, right? I'm going to harp on about strength training for any women out there. And I might actually do a full podcast episode as to why strength training and protein is so important, and building muscle is so important for a woman. But for right now, strength training is, as I said, not only important to be able to move our bodies for longevity, but it's also teaching our bodies that we are safe, and also expelling some of that extra energy that we have. Like, you can walk in nature, which is very grounding, to help move that electricity through, to move that energy through. But actually, you can use that energy to move shit. Kind of like Wonder Woman, you can channel that energy into something where, like, you're moving heavy things, you're doing hard things, and allowing yourself to be a very strong conduit, a strong woman. And then grounding, obviously, time outside, breath, all of these practices that you have learned, getting into the water, sauna, staying in the sun, lying down in the sun, all of these things are really, really important because we need to ground the body. Sometimes when you get all agitated and all worked up, you're like, oh my God, I just want to get outside. That's because your body's fucking telling you, I need to ground, bitch. Get the fuck out there. And then your somatic awareness. Like, can you tell what's going on in the body? And can you identify what this could be before
you decide to reach for something to numb it. Like, can you sit with the body and be like, fuck, that's what that is. Okay, I have a pain in my shoulder today. What was I doing yesterday? Nothing. Okay, so what could it be? Is it emotional pain? Is it that I slept funny? Would a nice yin yoga help? Would moving it help? Like, allowing yourself to really feel into what's going on without trying to escape the pain, but actually sitting with it and being like, right, well, this is what's going on for me, and seeing what you can do to help move it. Because again, it's a buildup of energy that's going on here, and it's giving pain receptors back to you because it's trying to say, look, there's something blocked here, like there's something going on, you need to rest, or you need to move it, or we need to stretch it, or you need a massage, something. And for me, like, I have bypassed my body so often, and it's from experience, it's really hard to be in a body that's in constant pain. Like, it's really hard, and now you've forced it through so much. Like, I very much was enforced for so many years, and because I wasn't listening to my body and instead forcing myself through things, I actually ended up burning out, and it took its toll, and it took its toll on so many levels. It took its toll mentally, physically, emotionally, and I just had to stop because I was bypassing the body. Even though I was doing all the things that were really good for it, it was the intention within them that was the issue. It was this intention of just getting away from all the pain. It wasn't actually to help me. So over the last year, and the last 5 years really, but slowly, I've been embodying this piece. Like, this idea of embodiment is like, you learn something and then you just embody it. So you just start doing it all of the time and it works straight away. What I have learned with embodiment is that every time I've tried to embody something that's not necessarily like aligned with me or working for me, I can't embody it fully. Like, whether I get bored of it, or whether it doesn't work for me, or whether it exhausts me. Like, embodiment is trial and error, but there has to be a dedication and devotion to the trial and error. And I feel like that is a really big piece that people aren't speaking about also, is like, we want to ensure that we can see ourselves as N of 1. So what does N of 1 need? N of 1 is used in studies where, like, it's like number 300, so it's 300 applicants. I live my life as an N of 1, so I believe that I am constantly trialing things for myself and then adapting them to what suits me. Suits me as a person, suits my values, suits how it makes me feel, suits my body, suits my lifestyle, right? So that's what the N of 1 is. And when we act like we're constantly an experiment and we trial and error things, we start figuring out what works for us, and that becomes the embodiment piece of being able to move forward with that. So over these last 5 odd years, specifically the last 2, and even more intensely the last one, this has really fallen into place for me, where, like, the better I feel, the more expansive I become, the deeper my channel gets. Like, what I'm able to move through in my body and through clients is insane at the moment. And I know at the moment I'm not working with a lot of clients, but I'm being very selective about my energy and how I can show up for things. Albeit I'm a little tired at the moment, but it's been a full-on year. But these practices and looking after myself have kept me very nourished and grounded. I don't think I'd have got through this year the way that I did if I wasn't in that space, if I wasn't nourishing myself and looking after myself. Because if I'm really honest with you, like, I spoke with my counsellor last week and she was like, Niamh, you've had a year. You've had a crazy 6 months. Like, even the last 3 to 4 have been very, very heavy and very full on. And yet I've managed to keep myself very, very grounded. So the physical body is really, really important if you also want to have this massive spiritual connection. And what I do find in that is that people are so afraid of coming back to the physical body and constantly wanting to find a spiritual way of, inverted commas, heal and fix themselves, whereas actually doing the disciplined work and consistently showing up for your body is the best thing that you could do. It's the best money you could spend, whether it's on a PT, on, good supplements, whether it's on a gym membership. Like, if any client came to me and they didn't have these foundations, I would be like, don't pay me the money. Go and get your health in check. And obviously this is something I want to be able to help women with, and I do, but it's the basics that are needed. So yeah, for me, this is what really shifted understanding my body and understanding my channel, and how when I allow my body to lead and my body to speak and I follow that path, the deeper and deeper aligned I become in my life, in my showing up in this world, and how much more joy and happiness and pleasure and excitement I feel. It's not just, oh my God, I make more money, or oh my God, I've got this amazing business I've built. No, it's like the basics of what a true amazing life should feel like, and that's joy and it's excitement, and you feel those sensations through your physical body. So yeah, I really think coming back to shifting my mindset from trying to spiritually awaken to coming back to trying to use that to help my body heal because it knows what it's doing, that's when everything changed for me in this space. So yeah, like, I do think it's about coming back to this and rooting down into your body. So it's always speaking to you, and honestly, if you listen, it will never lead you astray. And I think that is the most terrifying piece for a lot of people, because, and I was one of these people, I didn't want to face the pain, the discomfort, the issues that my body was holding, because it's scary and it can be quite confronting, because there's a part of it that you have to take full ownership and responsibility over. And I feel like with emotions and trauma and nervous system healing, 9 times out of 10 we can look at a situation that was traumatic, or we can say, well, that's what my parents did, so my patterns came from them. Like, we can place blame sometimes in other places, whereas like with our body, after a certain age, it becomes our responsibility. We did this. Even with endo, like, I know it's an immune issue, I can trace it the whole way back, but the burning out, the pushing, the forcing, the hurt I caused to my body, that was all me. That was not my immune system. That was me. And that's confronting. So, check in with your body, come back, be friends with it. It's important. It really, really is. And yeah, let me know if this resonated with you. If you love this conversation, I'd love for you to share it with other women, especially those who need to be reminded that they actually have the power, that they don't need to keep handing their power away to something or someone else, or another guru or another energy healing. Like, the body can do all of this for itself. It just needs help, and it needs us to get out of its way. And if you can come back to the body, I can guarantee you stepping into those modalities is going to make you just, like, your belief system, your limiting beliefs are just going to be blown out of the water. So yeah, I would love for you to share this. Please feel free to share on our Instagram as well. Like, I love getting this word out. I know a lot of my clients come to me and they're like, I love listening to you. Like, you just get it. And when we can share that with other people, I want to build a community of women who get it, who need to hear this, who understand what I'm talking about. So thank you so much. I hope you all have a beautiful week, and I'll talk to you soon.